What is going on, everybody? It is the Thursday edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show here at FTNFantasy.com. My name is Zach Graham, aka Kawaisenberg, DFS, and the NBA is back, baby. Game 1 of the finals tonight. We've also got 2 games in the W to discuss. New camera, new lighting setup here. I don't think this is quite ironed out yet, especially with the lighting. So gonna have a nice laugh at the shiny noggin right here. Let's go ahead and jump in because I know yesterday the stream went fairly long and successful so far with the picks that Alex and myself were able to come up with yesterday. And there's Hugo in the chat. It's that time, baby. He says, "Go Mavs." Yeah, I'm cheering for the Mavs. Believe it or not, I know I told Hugo that. He said a bit distracted by the glare. Yeah, man. This is a bright light right here. So by the time we get onto the playback stream tonight, over on the FTN Fantasy playback page, myself, Noops. I think Alex in there tonight. I think maybe Chris Meany, the biggest Mavs fan here at FTN Fantasy, going to be joining us for some of those playback streams. We'll have this lighting ironed out by then, Hugo. So good to see you in here. And yeah, watching some of those PGA picks go off this morning. Good start for Siwoo Kim after I think we greened out the 3 picks in that 6-pick play that took place on Wednesday. So hoping those PGA guys come through for all of us. And I saw guys like Big Civ had a nice little sixer that he hit with some of those WNBA picks we gave out last night, a couple of his own. So you like to see those green screens. We'll try to keep those going here tonight. Before we jump in, right, let me just remind you, if you haven't signed up yet at PrizePicks, you can do so using the promo code FTN. And that promo code is going to get you a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. So take advantage of that offer here. If you haven't signed up yet at PrizePicks, come on over, man. This is where we've been. This is where we need to update the little background here. I think we're sitting right now on 60.9% in terms of our overall total. That's on me slacking on updating that record, but I'm looking at the tab right here. 390 and 250, 60.9%. And you look at those WNBA picks, sitting at 25 and 9 here, just about 3.5 weeks into the season. Let's try to keep that going. But let's start with the NBA, rather, because this is the main event tonight, right? This is what we've been waiting over a week for. Boston, 6.5-point home favorites here in Game 1. And for what it's worth, again, Hugo, I know I said I'm cheering for the Mavs. I do have Celtics in 6. I think that is, from what I've been kind of reading and listening to, hearing, I think that's a really chalky pick. But it's tough. It's really tough for me to pick against the Celtics here with my wallet. Because I think the Celtics, again, assuming KP comes back and is healthy and good to go here tonight, I think Boston has 5 of the 7 best players in this series. Now, if Luka and Kyrie can be 1 and 2, the Mavs certainly have a chance. But yeah, man, I think it's Boston's to lose. And then Hugo, even as I'm giving out the kind of the bummer pick here, don't forget to like and subscribe. I second that. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, hit that like button here. It helps us grow the show, helps us grow the channel, as does hitting the subscribe button here on YouTube, on the FTN Fantasy channel. And Hugo, I'm not surprised here. Mavs in 7. But I don't think that's crazy. I'm just siding with the Celtics when it comes to the actual picks here. Anybody else that's tuned in live, head over to that YouTube chat. Let me hear what your picks. Let's see kind of what the listeners here and some of the FTN Fantasy subscribers have to say. I know we've been getting after it, going back and forth in the NBA channel of the Discord. And here, I know I'm about 5 minutes in here and we haven't given any picks yet, but join us at FTN Fantasy. It's about $40 a month. But you can get the VIP Plus subscription, and that gives you access to everything here under the FTN Fantasy umbrella. So you're going to get access to all of our projection models, all of our advanced statistics, your season long, your betting, your daily fantasy content, access to all 3 of our Discord channels. And again, that Pick'em Games channel where we are giving out picks for PrizePicks, picks for Underdog, Sleeper. We can talk about those 2 here in a little bit. Let's get to the picks here. Again, Boston 6.5-point home favorites. And I want to start and really stick with some of these ancillary pieces for the Mavs here. We're kind of working in tandem, of course, with the PrizePicks prop tool here, which we'll get a little scroll, keep that win percentage there in the window. Ancillary pieces for the Mavs. And this one is actually one that Alex Blickel already gave out in the chat this morning. And I was already on it. This is one of the rare mornings Alex and I actually have not conversed, but both of us on a less than selection here for Josh Green. So that's one thing I did not do is get these banners ready. So we'll go ahead and do this on the fly. Josh Green, less than half a turnover. Okay, and this is one, obviously, we've been attacking some of those turnover props, some of those stocks props over the last round or 2 with pretty good success, especially that little run with Tim Hardaway Jr. Just getting that next one ready there. So Josh Green here, less than half a turnover. And contrary to his teammate that I want to talk about here in a moment, Josh Green has taken a much smaller role in these playoffs after 26.4 minutes per game across 57 appearances in the regular season, started more than half of those. Just 17.8 minutes per game across his 17 playoff appearances. So also posting 0.4 turnovers per game in the playoffs. 13.1% usage in the regular season, predictably ticked downward 11.6% in these playoffs, but turned the ball over once in 4 of those 5 games against Minnesota. And I think, to me, that's an outlier from any sort of larger sample we have, whether it's this postseason, this regular season, or throughout his career, right? You look at Josh Green's turnover metrics from his entire career. He is a 13.8% turnover rate guy in his career. And then you look at his 34 career postseason appearances. And again, predictably, like that usage ticking downward when he's got a smaller role and the ball is more so in the hands of Luka and Kyrie or a Jalen Brunson in the past. 6.4% turnover percentage in his 34 postseason appearances. So that turnover rate against Minnesota, again, 1 turnover in 4 of those 5 games. His turnover rate in that series was 20.1%. So again, I just think that is an outlier for what we should expect out of Josh Green. And again, the Celtics, a very good defensive team, but actually force less turnovers than you might think based on their defensive acumen, that flexibility they have, the switch ability that they have, especially when they're fully healthy. So I'm taking a less than selection here on Josh Green's half a turnover. And there's Alex. See, it's rare the first time that Alex and I have a little exchange is during the stream here, but there you go. Good to see you, Alex. And Jeff, good to see Jeff in here. Predicts that both teams have fun. I would actually go against that. I think one team is very much not going to have fun in this series, but we'll see. So Josh Green, rather, and I guess kind of spoiling my next pick here, Derek Jones Jr., we're going to go to a more than selection on his half blocks prop. And real quick here, just to finish up on Josh Green, because I need to tell you what the tool is also telling us here. 0.39 is the projection on Josh Green turnovers here tonight. And you can see that the tool giving that a win percentage just around 68.7%, but we can round up and say it's very nice. It's 69% in terms of the win percentage there on Josh Green. So Derek Jones Jr. here, more than half a block. And again, we're talking ancillary pieces here for the Mavericks. And we've seen Jones Jr. record only 1 block in the last 5 games. And I think that is kind of matchup based with that series we saw against Minnesota. I don't think it's likely to continue over the course of this series, because over the first 12 games this postseason, right, of course, the 6-game series wins over both the Clippers and the Thunder, Derek Jones Jr. at least 1 block in 10 of those 12 games and averaged 1.5 blocks per game across those first two series this postseason. Sorry, adding more banners here for the WNBA talk. Alex, yeah. So again, 1.5 blocks per game through the first two rounds of this postseason, at least 1 block in 10 of those 12. Jones Jr. also 0.7 per game during the regular season. And again, contrary to what you see with Josh Green, Derrick Jones Jr. playing a much larger role in the playoffs minutes-wise than we saw in the regular season. He was 23.5 minutes per game in the regular season compared to 31.2 here in the postseason. The tool also likes this as a more than selection. Got him for 1.12 blocks here tonight in game one, which gives you around a 64% win percentage for the Jones Jr. prop. So we're also getting a nice little 0.4% correlation bonus in the PrizePicks tool here at FTNFantasy.com by pairing these two together. So those are my two favorite picks from the NBA side this morning. As you guys know, unless this is your first time tuning in here when I'm on the stream, you know that I love those fantasy score props. No fantasy score props up yet at PrizePicks. And again, still sifting through some of those demons, some of the other, again, kind of ancillary prop type of offerings here. So one thing you can do is by joining FTN Fantasy, becoming a subscriber here, getting access to that Pick'em Games channel, any picks that myself or Alex, and Alex already posted a 6 and a 4 pick earlier this morning, like I mentioned, Chris Meany, Kenneth Lee, and again, some of our subscribers posting some winners themselves too. So getting access to that channel gets you even more choices to kind of put into your pool here for your entries on a Thursday in that Pick'em Games channel. So certainly expecting to find some more NBA picks, but those are the two that I have here this morning. Josh Green, less than half a turnover. Derrick Jones Jr., more than half a block. Now let's go to the WNBA, just a 2-gamer here tonight. And we're going back to a familiar face. Got Chicago visiting the winless Washington Mystics here tonight. I'm going right back to Marina Mabrey after she let us down on Tuesday with her 3-pointers made. Prop it's back at 2.5 makes today. And again, I'm going right back to this more than choice. Mabrey still averaging 2.9 makes per game, 7.4 attempts across the 8 outings so far this season. And again, last time out, we talked about how the role is clearly for real here, the increased role, the career high role, the usage, the shot attempts. But on Tuesday, just 5 threes hoisted up against the Liberty, and that marks her lowest number of attempts in any game this season, excluding that single game where she got into foul trouble against the Storm in late May. The Mystics here, still without Brittany Sykes, still without Shakira Austin tonight. Just a 4-point spread, though, here. I mean, the Sky have not been any great shakes either, but Washington in the mud, and that may be putting it nicely here, sitting at 0-9 on the young season. The Mystics are allowing the 3rd most threes attempted per game to opponents this season. And with that 4-point spread, again, I think we should expect another low to mid 30s in terms of minutes here for Mabrey and another 7 or 8 attempts hoisted up. So I like the more than 2.5 threes made on Mabrey once again. And we'll get this last one in here. Fantasy score. We're going to the fantasy scoreboard because we do have some fantasy score props on the WNBA side, and we're sticking with the Sky here and going to Elizabeth Williams and less than 28 fantasy score. A good call out here by Hugo. So let's pull this down real quick. Hugo checking out, all of his offerings, because Hugo, I think, is somebody who has gone over to a site like Underdog Fantasy, right, and signed up using the promo code FTN, because if you do that right now at Underdog, you can get a 50% deposit match bonus, but that's up to $250 here on your first time deposit offer with Underdog. And right now, for every new customer, they are going to give you a special discounted pick at sign up. So again, promo code FTN gets you those bonuses over at Underdog. And then just for good measure, you can also download the Sleeper app. Same promo code FTN gets you that deposit match, 100% deposit match bonus up to $100 over at Sleeper. So getting back to what Hugo said here, for our information, Jones Jr. over blocks pumped to the 1.05x over on Underdog. So that is certainly a pick that I'm interested in over on Underdog, similar to Courtney Williams rebounds that had the same juice on it last night. That looks like a great selection for me over on Underdog. So again, Underdog Fantasy, sleeper app, promo code FTN for those sign-up bonuses. And Alex also pointing out over 1.5 stocks for Derrick Jones Jr. is 1.25x. So let me I'm going to pull up another window here, go to our projections here on the NBA side and check out what the stocks projection is, because I don't believe there is a 1.5 stocks here at PrizePicks, and that is correct. So right now, our projection on stocks for Derrick Jones Jr., again, blocks and steals combined for the uninitiated, looks like 1.77. So getting that 1.25x multiplier over there on Underdog, not too bad when you're looking at those Derrick Jones Jr. props and trying to pump up some of those entries. Again, you can go back to yesterday's stream when the great Alex Blickel joined me and kind of walked us through some of the math there on the new 6, 7, and 8 pick plays over on Underdog. And the one takeaway I can tell you right now, just on the top level, that 6 pick play over on Underdog is the best type of entry that you can have in the prop pick'em industry right now, the 6 picks over on Underdog. So let's get back to this final pick here in the W. Again, sticking with Chicago and going to the front court here, Elizabeth Williams less than 28 fantasy score. And if you're looking over on Underdog, 28.05 is that fantasy point projection over there. So Williams, again, the big factor for me, even on a minutes limit, is that 3rd overall pick, Camila Cardoso, active. And even on that minutes restriction, we've seen it already. It takes the ceiling, minute ceiling for Liz Williams down significantly. And of course, we're still working with very small sample sizes here with the season as a whole. And of course, just 2 games active for Cardoso. But Liz Willie has only been over this number 3 times so far this season out of, I believe, the 8 games that Chicago has played. And all 3 of those times it came when she played 30 minutes or more. Again, with Cardoso active, even on this minutes limit, I think we should be expecting mid to upper 20s on a game-by-game basis now. And Williams just, to me, and so far this season, this is the case. She has been, I believe, 1.07 PrizePicks fantasy score points per minute. But I think over the long haul, that's just a mirage here in the short term from those 2 games. She's really being buoyed by 2 50-plus fantasy point performances where, like, does she have that in her bag occasionally? Sure. Okay. Yeah. But in those 2 games, 62 minutes, 18 stocks. That's just unsustainable and not something we should be expecting her to replicate really at all. Anytime, like 10 stocks in one game, 8 in another. Last season, she was 0.91 PrizePicks fantasy score points per minute. And I think that's much closer to the reality that we should expect going forward. And again, with the minutes coming down, in my eyes, to like, I think anything more than 28 minutes is really pushing it. And I think 25 to 26 is probably where I would land if I'm projecting minutes out for the Chicago team right now. I like the less than on 28 fantasy score here for Liz Williams. So those are the 4 picks I have for us here this morning. And Zed chiming in late. Zed, again, another valued member of the FTN Fantasy community here. Is she the Ben Wallace of the Mutombo of the WNBA? Not quite, man. Like, I'm when I say outliers, like outliers. That's just not something like Liz has always been. I think above average is probably a fair way to put it in terms of her stock output. Like in her career, averages 2.5 stocks per game. But again, that's a far cry from 9 per game. And again, those are the 2 outliers this year from a fantasy score perspective that is really buoying that 1.07 point per minute rate. So, and Zed bringing this up here too. So again, going back to just our PrizePicks talk, you still have that Tatum discount up there for game 1 if you have not used it yet. So Zed, I have 4 picks out here on the stream, going to be going back across the litany of sites and looking for some more picks. So the 4 picks I've given out here, plus that Tatum, you just need one more for that full 6 pick rather. And I'm certainly hoping to get more than one additional pick into that Pick'em Games channel here as we go along throughout the day. But you've also got, again, Alex and I both on that Josh Green pick, but there's 5 other picks that Alex has given out in the Pick'em Games channel. So to me, I would kind of mix and match my favorites there. And Hugo, let's hope so, my friend. Let's just recap real quick before we get out of here. We're over 20 minutes on the Thursday edition of the PrizePicks prop show here at FTN Fantasy. And here's a note: Courtney Vandersloot for the Liberty. Again, we didn't really talk about that game from a prop perspective. Nothing I saw that I liked immediately. But if you can go grab right now Sabrina Ionescu over 5.5 assists, that would be my 6th prop there with the Tatum pick, Zed. Because and I can do this off the top of my head because we were talking about it the other day, her assist rate goes from 25% to 36.5% with Vandersloot off over the last season plus. And unless they pulled that down, and they haven't, Sabrina Ionescu, 5.5 assists is her line right now. I would go hit the over, even just on the chance now that Vandersloot listed questionable with a personal issue. Just the chance that she misses tonight. 5.5 is not a bad line in the first place. That's kind of right around where Sabrina should come in for an average assist number this year, assuming health for everybody. But if Sloot sits, that is an extremely advantageous prop here. So let's see. I'm going to try to get that in myself with some of these other picks. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. And we will also throw in, probably Laney over fantasy score. Again, just trying to build one here on the fly and take advantage of that information before PrizePicks takes these Liberty props down, at least for the guards. So again, just off the top of my head, Betnijah Laney more than 22.5 fantasy score would be my other. Courtney Vandersloot is questionable pick here. And man, look, when I put my hands up, it's changing the lighting. We got to get this figured out for the playback stream tonight and going forward. So let's see. Alex chiming in here before we shut it down and kind of retire to the Discord for the latter part of the morning. Alex said the 4-pick play he posted has an estimated 23% chance to hit, which is 113% expected value. A little smiley face there. That makes me smile as well to see that, and the fact that I have that pick already in, because when Alex puts picks into the Discord, I play them. So Zed, let's run down the other picks here from the stream. So is Josh Green less than half a turnover and Derek Jones Jr. more than half a block in game 1? Again, you can, if you haven't used that Tatum discount, you can throw Tatum in there as well. And then on the WNBA side, we're going back to Marina Mabry, more than 2.5 3-pointers made, and her teammate Elizabeth Williams, less than 28 fantasy score. And then again, if you're looking to take advantage of this news that popped almost 5 minutes ago now, Courtney Vandersloot, questionable with a personal issue here tonight. Sabrina Ionescu, more than 5.5 assists. Betnijah Laney, 22 or more than 22.5 fantasy score. Again, if Sloot plays, those are not terrible. Again, those are set for Vandersloot playing. So I like both of those. And again, Sabrina assists is the one that I really like getting in there now with that news. So that'll do it for me here on the Thursday edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show here at FTNFantasy.com. Whether you're catching this live and on your way out or on the replay later today on Thursday, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow the show. And you will see Alex back here on Friday. Maybe some more PGA picks, certainly some MLB thoughts coming at you on Friday, same time, same place. So I appreciate you tuning in and sticking with me, whether you were live or on the replay. And of course, good luck tonight, everybody.